All right, guys, I'm back with another Butler Did It movie review. This time we got a Netflix exclusive. Let's talk about Bright. Bright stars Will Smith and Joel Edgerton as two police officers that exist in the present day where humans, orcs, elves, and fairies have been coexisting since the beginning of time. The two officers embark on a routine night patrol that will alter the future of their world and the world as we know it. Okay, let's talk about this one. Here's my biggest issue with this film. My biggest problem with this one is that I like the concept, right? I like that it's Middle-earth in modern day. I actually think that's pretty clever, right? I think they're sort of taking the Lord of the Rings / Game of Thrones thing and saying, hey, what if there was a fantasy world, and instead of basing it in a mythical medieval world, how about we place it in modern day times? I'm with that. I like that. I think it's pretty clever. However, they sort of took for granted how much people actually know about some of these creatures and how many people actually care about that kind of world, right? They assume you know what an orc is. They assume you understand what an elf is even. They assume that you know these things, so they sort of just roll with it without much backstory. They try to give you some stuff in the beginning. They really do. They try to give you some stuff in the beginning to kind of help you understand that this is Middle-earth, because that's what this is. This is Middle-earth in modern day times. That this is Middle-earth, that in this world, orcs exist, elves exist, fairies exist, the concept of magic exists. But I think they failed at explaining that to the novice audience. So I think people that are gonna watch Bright just for the cool new Will Smith movie that's on Netflix and it's free, and hey, why not check it out, are gonna end up confused at the storyline. They're not gonna get that this is saying, hey, what if Middle-earth continued on into modern day times? What if we lived in the world with orcs and this, that, and another? I also have another problem with this film. I don't like that the orcs were like some type of like weird hybrid Latino gang. I thought that was strange. I thought that was a strange path to go, to have them basically be like homeboys. Like, I thought that was very weird and kind of corny, to be honest with you, that the orcs were, I get it. I get what they were trying to do again, that they were trying to use this fantasy world and these fantasy creatures and sort of illustrate a wealth gap, that the elves are the prestigious rich people, that the orcs, the ugly orcs, are the downtrodden minorities of the world that no one wants around, and the humans sort of play in the middle. I understand that, but I thought the execution was sloppy and poor, to be honest with you. I think that when you take risks like that, you run the risk of going over your audience's head and even offending people. And I'm not easily offended, but I think that people will watch this one and go, why do they look like that? Why do they have on bandanas and football jerseys and ball caps? Like, why? Also, the storyline, the plot of this thing is kind of all over the place. It's missing some stuff. Again, it's not the worst thing. Some of the critics are bashing this film. It's not the worst film of the year. I will tell you that. But I will say the story is incomplete. Basically, they're going after this. They're Will Smith is partnered up with this orc, and he doesn't want to work with him. And he's, the world is watching, and everyone on the force is essentially trying to get rid of this guy. But then they throw in this whole other side story about a magic wand, and they don't give you much about why the wand is important. You just have to assume that it's a magic wand, and in this world, magic wands are dangerous. They're like nuclear bombs, but they don't give you much, again, because you don't learn much about the elves. They spend a lot of time breaking down why orcs are in the position, and even saying some of this stuff, it feels kind of weird, but they break down why orcs are considered downtrodden and considered to be the lowest of the low. They hint at the fact that elves are super powerful, but where does this one crew of evil elves come from. Again, it just assumes that people care about this type of stuff and that people are into this type of stuff. And that's cool for people that are. But what about the casual Will Smith fan that just wants to watch this film and figure out what's going on? You have to provide more backstory. And Bright just doesn't do that, man. So, listen, if you have a Netflix account, Bright is there. Netflix attempted to go for a big blockbuster film. They got a lot of stuff coming in the can. They're working with big directors. David Ayer is a big director. He did Suicide Squad, right? There's big stars in this film. I get it. You know what I mean? They're going for it. They're going for the gusto. This was their attempt at a blockbuster. And visually, it lives up. It looks like it should be a summer film. It looks like it should be a big time, you know, you could tell that they spent money on this thing. The budget was probably off the hook. It holds up visually. If you care about orcs and fairies and Middle-earth, you'll probably like this movie again. But if you are just trying to see a movie with Will Smith in it, you may be confused by this plot. You may be confused by this story, and that is not good. I'm not sure I recommend this one for the casual fans. It's just not that good. To be honest with you, just not that good, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2 out of 5. I'm almost tempted to give it a lower score. Again, I got through it. It's not the worst thing I've seen. If this came out in the theater, it probably would be a bomb. So it's good that it came out on Netflix. And if you got a Netflix account, go ahead and check it out, man. I mean, hey, it's basically free. So again, we back, man, and shout out to everybody that gave me their requests on their Throwback Thursday movies they want me to review. We got a bunch of good ones, man. We got some classics. I should have one up this Thursday. Of course, we'll have some reviews before that. We're going to review She's Gotta Have It. We're going to review some other stuff, man. So keep getting at me. Follow me on social at MSR_Adam. Continue to support this, man. We're doing it for fun. I love doing this. I love talking about movies with you guys, man. This is one of my favorite things to do. Until next time, be great.